Hey guys, welcome to a video that I wanted to make for you. This is a pick a pile reading video, and the basis of this video is what do we need to leave behind in 2020 and what do we need to bring forward into 2021. And I've also got a little oracle card there as sort of guidance or an advice card as we do this reading. So the way this works is that you look at the piles that we have here and you pick one that calls to you the most, what you think is the one that is the pile for you, has the cards that you need to hear. And you can go ahead and do that now. You can concentrate, take a minute to think about your year past, your year ahead, what troubles you might want to leave behind, what good things you want to bring forward, things like that. Or just simply ask the universe or God or your guides or whoever that you like to connect with. Ask which pile has the message for you and which one you should pick now. So the first pile, we have the opalite pile with a pretty opalite gem, if that's calling to you. We have the fluorite pile and the tiger's eye pile. And just take a breath, take a minute, feel the energy of the three piles, of the three crystals. Which one calls to you the most? And we'll go ahead and we'll start the reading in a minute, and I'll put the timestamps for each pile so you can skip ahead for the one that you want. So we're going to go ahead and start with pile 1, the opalite pile, that's this one. And the way this one is working is that we have 2 tarot cards and a goddess guidance card. So we'll take a minute now just to look at those cards. And here we have the what we're leaving behind card, which is the 3 of Cups. What we're bringing forward card, the 4 of Cups. And the goddess who's come for some guidance is Damara. So the immediate vibe that I'm getting is that 2020 might have been a bit of a reckless year. While we had the coronavirus going on and all that, it might have been a year where you thought, you know what, let's just take it as it comes, do what I want, not really stress too much about any serious plans and things, which kind of could happen considering we couldn't do a lot of things. We were restricted a little bit. And so in 2020, that attitude, that like carelessness, or not a carelessness, but maybe a less serious attitude here is what we need to, or what you might be needing to leave behind in the 2020 year. And then when we look at what to bring forward into 21, we have a much more serious card here. You can see the 4 of Cups. We have this gentleman who's sitting and he's contemplating, and he's got these 3 cups in front of him. He's looking at them, he's thinking about them, he's taking his time. He can't quite see the one here, but there is a definite shift in energies from the 3 to the 4 of Cups. The 3 of Cups is a bit more carefree, a bit more fun almost. And we can see there's these girls dancing, they're holding up their cups, they're having a good time. So there's just a shift in attitude, or a shift in, what's the word I'm looking for? A shift in priorities coming from 2020 into 21 for you. It might be time that now we've had all of this craziness over, it's time to reassess and relook at what you actually really need to be concentrating on in 21. Time to get your life back on track, so to speak. And even the 3 to the 4, in a numerological sense, it's another shift. We go from a feminine energy to a masculine energy, and we can see that in the cards. So a feminine energy, or feminine energy, is more of a receptive energy, whereas a masculine is more of a action energy. So we're going from just letting things happen to us to actually deciding and planning of what we want to happen. So that's your cards for the tarot cards, is that we're shifting, letting go of just sort of a more carefree attitude, and now it's time to actually plan and do stuff and get ready to take on the year coming into 2020. And when we look at the Goddess Guidance card, we have Damara. While her message is guiding children, I can see that when we put these cards together, the message is more about you're stepping in from a sort of childlike role here, a bit more carefree, into a more of an adult role. And Damara is saying that she's guiding you into this this new year with this advice coming forward. It's time to let go of like the childish or the carefree sort of attitude that you might have wanted to have in 2020 that you had in 2020, just trying to deal with COVID craziness. And it's time to step forward into a more of an adult or a more mature energy here. Time to plan and time to look at what you want to do, assess what's open to you, and, you know, get ready to take some of those options here. The other thing that I can kind of see here, I think with the 2020 What to Leave Behind card, it seems that, especially socially, while we were in restrictions, maybe you were using that to keep in touch more with friends and family, even if it's online. You were sort of more connected. Whereas in 2021, you need to maybe think a little bit more for yourself, take a more of an independent role. Still talk to friends, talk to family, discuss, have a good social life and everything, but it might be a little bit more of an independent year for you. But yeah, that's pretty much it for you guys in pile 1. Take a minute to look over the cards, see if you pick up any energy or reading or messages that I don't pick up myself, and just mull it over. Otherwise, if your selection was pile 2, I'm about to start that one now. Okay, pile 2, this is your reading. This is the fluorite pile. What a beautiful crystal, you guys. I wouldn't be surprised if that called to a lot of you. So we'll pop that one there. And again, here we have the what we're going to let go of and what we're going to bring in to 21, and the goddess with the advice. And there's a really strong message coming through as soon as I flipped those cards over, and I can see that definitely 2020 was your year to just sit back at home. Maybe not even just because of Corona, but I guess that helped it when we're in restrictions. It's your time to have like a sort of like a hermit attitude. You've kept in your cave, kept to yourself, looked at things, mulled things over, not really made any actions. And in 2020, that's what we're letting go of from 2020 for you. That sort of hermit attitude. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I can see that in the energy of 2021, it's really time to look and get what you want and step out a little bit more, sort of thing. So we got the Hermit card for 2020, what to let go of, and that's pretty obvious, that hermit attitude, sitting at home, being a little bit more isolated, maybe not making many moves, just sort of mulling things over, thinking. And then we have for your 2021 what to adopt, we've got the 9 of Cups, and this card is also like the wish card. It's a card that some people take as wishes being granted. It's the card just before the 10, so it's sort of almost the end of the journey. It's the final step, but it is definitely to me a more of an action card than the Hermit is. This gentleman, he's sitting, he's got his cups all around him. He's just looking for that last one, the 10th one, just to finish the cycle. And so what that gives you more of that action attitude that 2020 is going to bring to you. It's still, the Hermit's still kind of just coming out of his shell. You haven't actually like made heaps of steps forward, but there is more of an intention here than there was in the Hermit card to make actions and get what you want, and really take 2021 as a year to focus your intention, which is actually what the Goddess Oracle card is that you received. And so here we have Diana. Her message is focus intention, and she's got a little bottom message here that says, keep your unwavering thoughts, feelings and actions focused on your target and you will make your mark. And I think her message to you is really clear. It's time to let go of just letting things happen, start making actions, focus your intention on that 10th cup, that thing that you want, whatever plans or goals you had for 21. It's time to really put yourself forward and try and, get those goals and do the thing and make your intentions, more than just intentions, make them reality. And this is like a really strong message that's come through. And in the previous reading, I didn't really, if you chose pile 1, I didn't really touch on the crystal because I didn't feel much of a message from it. But when we pick up the fluorite is a stone that is about mental clarity and promoting things like a focused self, which is really, really on point with this reading. It's definitely your year to like take things, do what you want with whatever plans you have, take steps, focus your intentions on what you want, and you're being guided to do so. And I believe that if you do that this year, you're going to have a great year. You're really going to be able to bring your dreams into reality, bring your wish into reality once you step out of your comfort zone as well. 2020 was a bit of a comfort zone year for some. You get to stay at home if you're a bit of an introvert, less social gatherings and whatnot, but really it's time to step out and focus what you want and make some moves. And I know that was a bit shorter, but that message came out really succinct and really quick and really naturally. So there you go, pile 2. Seems like a good year for you, really being guided to make some moves. Alrighty, and now the next one will be pile 3, so if that's your pile, stick around. Okay, and welcome pile 3. This is the Tiger Eye pile. This is great in the light. Look at those bands, how beautiful. It's almost like looking in one of those 3D optical illusions. Alrighty. Let's get into it. So as before in the other readings, we have the 2 tarot cards, so what to leave behind, what to bring forward, and your guidance card. And again, as with pile 2, there's a really strong, if you watch that, there's a really strong message coming in, you guys. I can see that in 2020, it was definitely a difficult year for you. You might have felt trapped, unable to do what you want, literally because of coronavirus. That's the theme coming through with some of these readings. But yeah, but there's also a message of a mental struggle. You might have been really feeling the effects of corona, of your social isolation this year. And I think that sort of put a little guard around you, or you think that there's a guard around you. You're struggling to move forward kind of thing, especially in this past year. But really it's time to let that go, because what your 2021 card is a really strong, clear message of the Ace of Swords. It's really time to just put your mind forward, change maybe the way you think a little bit, try and be a little bit more positive, a little bit fresh. I know that can be hard. I definitely understand that, but there's a really strong message there. Just take your sword, get what you want, put it forward. That sort of message. And this sword is going to, the Ace of Swords is going to cut through those bonds that are keeping you tied up here in 2020. Had to get that out, but I'll go deeper into the cards now. So for your what to let go of in 2020 or leave behind in 2020 card, you've got the 8 of Swords, and we can see the woman here. She's bound, she's trapped by 8 swords around her, and swords are really a symbol of the mind and mental air energy. So for her, the way I've always seen this card is that she's not actually as stuck as she thinks she is. This barrier around her is what's in her head rather than what's physically restraining her. And we can see that these ties are actually quite loose. They look really, they don't look like they're really tight around her. She's blindfolded, so she can't see that actually there's a way out if she just comes forward. there's not that much surrounding her blocking her in. So I think she truly believes that she's stuck, but really she's not. So this can also be a little bit of a victim mentality card. I say that lightly because 2020 was a difficult year, so it's not in saying that you aren't struggling, but maybe your struggles are not quite as bad as you think they are. You just need to change and let go of this negative thinking in 2020 as best you can, because that is difficult to do. But what to adopt in 21, you have the Ace of Swords, which is a really powerful card. It's the mind cutting through the clouds, cutting through the confusion. There is definitely a shift in the way that you should think coming up in 2021. And it's more of that letting go of being the victim and maybe more like taking control and bring that forward into your life now in this new year. The card that I want to touch on as well is the guidance card, which you have Irene, the goddess of peace. And her message is there is no need to worry as everything is working out beautifully. And while that's a little bit like, you know, toxic positivity there a little bit, it's really reinforcing the previous cards' message in that you need to let go of the worries and the doubts and the fear and step forward in your actions and your feelings, knowing that it's actually okay, you can do it, you're protected, you're safe, you're able to do what you want now. Like, it's just a shift, I think, in the mentality. And I think that might come a little bit easier than you think. 2020, like, the whole year has been a lot of messages of, oh my God, fear, stress, worry, coronavirus, understandably. But 2021 seems like a fresh start for you as well. The Ace is the one card in the journey. It's the very beginning. So take 2021 as a fresh start for you now. Try and let go of those fears and those worries previous that you had in 2020 and try and just clear the slate. Start new. Be at peace if you can. If you can, like, that's difficult, but you know, that's the message. Worries are all more in your head, and you need to just clear your mind now and get a new, like, perspective as well, is what the message is from the Eight of Swords. And, I mean, the Ace of Swords, not 8. And we can see that, speaking of numbers, the 8 here is quite far along in the journey from 0 to 10 of the tarot, but the Ace is the very beginning, so it's the end of 2020's journey and the start of 2021. It's even the numbers in these cards are like fresh slate, new journey messages. So it's really a good time just to sort of try and move forward and move on from this negative images here in 2020. And speaking of that, the Tiger's Eye is a really good crystal for protection. And that's kind of reinforcing the message from Irene here of peace, saying there's no need to worry, everything's working out beautifully. Like, you're protected and you're able to do what you want without fear and worry. That's what this stone is kind of reinforcing here for me. But it is not quite as heavy as some of the other protection stones. Not quite as dark. Like, sometimes, you know, obsidian is great for protection, but the Tiger's Eye is like a little bit lighter to me, both in color and sort of like in feeling. It does have this dark edge. The black comes through, but then when the light is upon it, you can see the beautiful gold. And so it's more of a crystal telling me that you're protected, but it's not like you have to shut yourself in and keep yourself safe in a safe. You're still safe in a locked place is what I meant. You can move, you're free to do what you want, knowing that you are protected. That is the vibe I get from that card, from that crystal. And that's really reflected in these cards. There's no actual physical issues in 2021. Maybe that's a message that, you know, maybe with the laxing of restrictions in some countries, you'll be free to like re-engage and improve your mental health and things like that. But there is no actual restriction on the way that you think and the way that you come forward into this year. So it's a really, really good message for you guys. Fears can be left behind. Leave them behind in 2020. Bring in a fresh slate. Know that you're protected and you can do what you want, or do what you need to do, especially for your mental health. So that's your message. I hope that really resonated with you guys. And now I'm just going to put a little closing on, so stick around if you want to read or hear me close the video. Okay guys, that's it for this Pick a Pile reading. I hope that message really resonated with you. And I hope you can take this advice into the next year. Yeah, best of luck. Stick around on my Instagram or my channel or wherever you're watching this if you want to suggest more readings or look out for my next one. I'm sure I'll be doing some more. And yeah, I hope you have a great day. Thanks.